Well, good evening from New York, where it was an action-packed session. You know, many global leaders turned up. Of course, as you said, President Xi Jinping co-chairing that meeting with UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. But there were a lot of other leaders and women leaders from around the world, both developed and developing nations. For example, Ellen Sirleaf, the president of Liberia, the first elected head of state in Africa as a woman, said that they would for example, pass a law banning domestic violence and cracking down on that. We had Bangladesh saying that they have areas of the government which are allowed women-only posts to promote equality in the political sphere. And it's not just the developing countries, the developed countries. For example, Angela Merkel, of course, who's one of the world's most powerful women, as the Chancellor of Germany, said that they needed more women in top economic posts. Let's listen to what she had to say.
Auch Frauenrechte.
Women's rights are human rights too. Isn't it a disgrace for humanity that we still need to underline this? But it is true. Women urgently need more protection, particularly in war zones and crisis regions. Women have to have more of a say in preventing conflicts and in settling conflicts once they break out. Or, to put it differently, we need women for peace. We need women for development.
You know, this is being dubbed Beijing +20 here in the halls of the UNGA, a reference, of course, that landmark Women's Development Conference in Beijing 20 years ago. It's a time to take stock, to see what progress has been made, but also what action. In fact, there's a key word here. It's called Planet 50/50 by 2030. And what that means is that world leaders have pledged to have real gender equality between men and women by 2030. A lot of work to do, but a lot of world leaders signing on with individual pledges here at the United Nations.
Right, and President Xi Jinping has pledged $10 million to UN women. What's the reaction from the UN member countries?
Well, it's very well received. UN Women is actually the newest United Nations agency. It used to be headed by the now President of Chile, Michelle Bachelet, and now headed by a very eminent South African politician. It has been starved of funds. It's a smaller agency than most, so that money will be extremely welcome. Also, China pledging, as we said at the top, funding for 100 projects to do with women and girls' education and healthcare. This is sort of bottom-up development, which is so needed as well. But other countries too pledging on. And the fact that this empowerment session happened just before all the major speeches going to happen in the next 24 hours from world leaders really focuses attention on it. Although a lot of those are going to be men. And there is a big talk here is that when Ban Ki-moon, the UN Secretary General here, steps down in the next couple of years, perhaps it would be a good idea to have a woman Secretary General for the first time in the UN's 70-year history.
Right, and Nathan, can you tell us more about China's efforts to improve gender equality?
Well, as you know, we were talking about Beijing +20. You know, this was a landmark conference. Do you remember actually that it was First Lady of the US, Hillary Clinton, who had headlines there when she addressed the session? She's now running for President of the United States for a second time. So that's a sort of example of how things have moved on as well. And there is an understanding that China is at the forefront of this, but also China admits it has work to do. And President Xi Jinping said that they will have a spotlight on women's development too. No country feels that they can rest on their laurels. Empowerment. We've come a long way, but there is a long way to go.